Drawing inspiration from Fluxus, Alan Capro's Happenings, and the collectivism of the 1980s and 1990s Washington, D.C. punk scene, Never Records embodies my mission to re-enchant the world and galvanize communities through the act of listening and the visualization of recorded sound. For the past 14 years, I've traveled around the world with a vinyl record lathe, cutting live performances and teaching what I call the transcendental science of the vinyl record. It's making records as a social gift. In 2024, the Sarasota Art Museum and the Hermitage Artist Residency invited me to mount a Never Records in Sarasota, Florida. It was an incredible experience. Each performance that I recorded was better than the last. One of the things I hate about how music is disseminated, music and art really, is disseminated these days, is that it takes an artist's creativity and hard labor and turns it into a line item on a spreadsheet. Never Records is an antidote into what I call playlist fatigue. And I'd like to go into one of the recordings I made into Sarasota with a little more depth. Keni Whyte used their Never Records session as a first step and a first public performance on the journey to discovering their new voice. A year and a half prior to their Never Records session, Keni started transitioning into the person that they always deserved to become. But this transition came at a big cost. It's almost like a parable or a fable, the gift of the Magi or the Little Mermaid. Keni had this incredible Nashville-ready singing voice, but was willing to sacrifice it to transition into the person that they deserve to be their whole lives. I was completely floored by this usage of my art project, Never Records, as a first step into this kind of discovery. It's really important to me that Never Records isn't rhetorical, in the sense where I want a complete exchange between the participants and the audience and myself, the artist. And it's incredible that my artwork could help someone in this way. I wanted to hear more about Keni's story, so I invited them to the house that I was staying in Sarasota for a little bit of an interview. An interesting thing that I learned about Keni from this interview was that they also had a social archive practice like Never Records, that for the past decade or so, they've been recording friends, families, and acquaintances because they believe that everybody's story has something to teach us all. How lucky am I that Keni found Never Records? Or more importantly, how lucky am I that I found Keni?
I have put aside music for so long. It's been like a couple of years now that I haven't really practiced. Not since COVID times. My voice changing really fucked me up. I was not prepared. I mentally prepared myself as much as I could, but it just was frustrating trying to sing. Trying to feel the same way I did before when I sang. So I felt that I was up for the challenge at this time. And that's really what it came down to. It's just sitting down with myself and saying, okay, you're out of practice. You don't know how to sing anymore. You haven't picked up your guitar in many, many moons. You have 3 days until you're supposed to go to the museum. come up with something. And it felt good to have a little push. I just had this moment the other day. Actually, I was looking. I have field recordings on my phone, and I was looking for some field recordings to use in a project of just waves and like cicadas and things. And I found one from 2016, and it just said river. And I've been known to record a river before. So I clicked on it, and it was actually me singing. I'm gonna cry because it was such a weird experience. Me singing a song called River by Leon Bridges. And I had this feeling of, it's sadness. It really is sadness. But it's sadness because it's like another person that you still are is almost unreachable. And living 30 plus years as one person, and then suddenly, over a very short period of time...
1 year, right?
Yeah, over a very short period of time, having to relearn that very large part of my life. There's a sense of permanence that it is a permanent change. There's no going back. And but it's so hard to explain because I feel so much better in my body and who I am right now.
Yeah.
But it is a permanent change that is, I don't think I've allowed myself to grieve that person who I've left behind. I think part of the hardest thing is that I taught myself how to sing. I didn't have any lessons or anything. I taught myself. And in fact, when I first started singing, people told me not to quit my day job. I wasn't
hard to believe because what you played me was so
yeah,
good.
But that was after years of practicing and just putting in the work. And so I know that I'm capable of doing it again. But when you know how to sing and you don't have to think about it anymore, and you can just relax your body and your brain tells your vocal cords that this is the note. That doesn't happen to me anymore. I have to relearn all of it, all of the muscle memory, because my vocal cords have changed. So I've tried to hit some notes that I think, of course, I could do this. But it is just about like relearning, which is also really exciting because now I have this whole next chapter of my life where I get to sing differently than I have been before. Yeah, it's like a Little Mermaid effect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literally giving up your voice to have legs. That's how it does it. That was what held me back from doing hormone therapy in the first place, was my voice. But it started to feel like I was so unhappy in the body that I was in that I actually stopped playing music and singing.
Yeah, because you couldn't go on.
And so it was something I got to a point and I was willing to risk that frustration of having to relearn everything. But knowing that I can do it because I've done it before. No, it took me 30 years to finally go through with, top surgery and starting hormone therapy. I, for a very long time, was unhappy, but just doing my best. Because I thought,
Look.
It's a tiny...
Keni, you're like Snow White.
I am, actually. I am. Hi, honey. You're just a baby.
It's a bunny.
It's a tiny baby. It's more, for me, it's about showing that not only are we all just people here in the world, but each individual person has a fantastic story to tell. Even if it's just for a short period of time. Even if you just talk to me about what happened this week, this day, And I'm interested in those things. I actually have a sticker on the back of my car that says emotional support because I'm the person I'm the ear. most of the time.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I think that's good.
Yeah.